Something strange is happening across the world, especially Europe, where people are flocking to ideas that just a generation ago would have been laughed off the stage. Marxism, socialism, communism. These relics of failed experiments are suddenly back in vogue. And it's not because they've suddenly figured out how to make utopia work. It's simpler than that. These ideologies promise to cure people's fears and anxieties. They dangle a shiny carrot: equality, justice, a world where no one's left behind. It's seductive, especially when you see your standard of living collapse more and more. Never mind the history: gulags, breadlines, collapse. Fear and anger doesn't care about facts. It craves a story that feels good. And then there's this bizarre willingness to shrug off censorship, to let the press be muzzled and freedom of speech chipped away. How does that even happen? We're told it's for our own good, to stop the chaos, the misinformation, the stuff that might hurt our feelings or challenge the narrative. People nod along because they've been conditioned to trust the experts. It's easier to let someone else decide what's true than to wrestle with the mess of sorting it out yourself. Besides, who doesn't want to feel safe, even if that safety comes with losing your freedoms? Just look at the ballot box. Why do people keep voting for governments that fling open the borders, letting unvetted mass migration flood in? Migration that data shows increases crime and destroys the trust that held Western societies together. It's not because voters love chaos, it's guilt, mixed with a dose of naive hope, and decades of propaganda of being told you owe the world something. Their TV tells them it's noble to sacrifice their own economic and social stability for some grand moral experiment. And when the cracks show, when neighborhoods change overnight, when safety erodes, they're too ashamed to admit they were wrong, so they double down. Same goes for taxes: high taxes, crumbling infrastructure, a slow but steady slide in living standards. Why vote for that? Because people have bought the pitch. If we just pay more, government can fix everything. It's a comforting lie. They're sold on the idea that government knows best, that handing over more of their paycheck will somehow magic up better schools or health care. Never mind that the money vanishes into bureaucracy or pet projects and corrupt politicians. It's faith in a machine that continues to hide behind the curtain. And then there's Ukraine. Why are people cheering for a war that drags on, chewing up lives and billions of dollars with no end in sight? It's not about strategy, it's emotion. They've been fed a blockbuster script: good versus evil, democracy versus tyranny. Rooting for it feels righteous, like they're part of something bigger. Admitting it's a meat grinder with no clear winner, well, that's too uncomfortable. So they cheer for continued death and destruction, because peace means compromise, and people are told compromise means surrender. People are lost. They're grasping for meaning in a world that's spinning too fast, trading freedom for false promises, voting for their own chains. It's stupidity, fear, and desperation. Now the question is, how much longer can our addiction to ignorance last before the whole thing unravels and we are all swept up in the own nothing and be happy mantra? Except for the elites, of course. Share, subscribe, and donate. Bye.